sitting a bit deeper, but I want to read something out to you. That's the first time it's ever happened in Champions League history tonight. Man City are the first team in Champions League history to lead by 3 goals as late as the 75th minute and still fail to secure a win. And the reason why that's an awful record to now own, but the reason it's significant is that no team ever in the history of this tournament, getting towards 100 years of this tournament, has ever been that far ahead with 15 minutes to go and not won a game. So Pep making some substitutions where you're resting some players and bringing on some academy players at 3-0 is what every single fan typically asks them. I bet when Arsenal went 4-1 up, you were all going, time for Waneri now. Let's bring Waneri on. Let's get him some game time and some exposure. So I can't blame Pep for that. For me, where I'm looking at Pep, and it isn't about this game specifically, is that he needs to find a way of remotivating this team. He has got to make some big, maybe it's dropping certain players and bringing in some new academy players. I don't quite know what it is. I'm not a manager. He has to do something, but there's loads of things wrong here. It isn't just Rodri that's out. It's some players are bloated. Some players have lost their legs. You've got others in the attack that can't score goals. Terrible recruitment over the last couple of seasons in certain areas. Also, Pep says, I like small squads. You know, all these little things have led to you guys being amazing at times. But right now, it's all just gone sour at exactly the same. The freezer is broken. Everything's thawed out. And there's nothing left to eat.
Can I just add to that? As an outsider looking in, right, I don't think that Man City's problem stems from one thing or another. I think there's multiple issues here. I think Man City got complacent in the transfer window over the past couple of seasons. They've allowed their squad to age. Their midfield, for me, is what's causing them the biggest problem. And they all have to hold accountability for it. The owners for not reinvesting in the squad and keeping it fresh. The players, because as Vader rightly pointed out, after doing a 4-peat, after winning so many trophies over the last few years, it kind of looks like they've not got it mentally this season. But I also think as well, where Pep Guardiola definitely comes into play and should hold accountability, is I would say this is probably one of the first times, apart from the first season that he was at Man City, where he's actually facing true adversity in his managerial career. Let's be real. When he was at Barcelona, he didn't really face too much adversity. He had, some of the best players in the world available to him, and they was able to carry out his system to an absolute T. Same at Bayern Munich. Same for the past, 10 years at Manchester City. Now, he's got a squad that's aging, that can't seem to carry out the instructions and the way that or the style that he's wanting to play with the high line, etc. Because let's be real, they're not physically at it. So now he has to adapt to the players that he has at his disposal. Yes, Rodri is a massive, massive miss, huge miss, and he would be in any team. But
do you think they win today if Rodri played?
Man City shouldn't look this bad.
Yeah.
At one
Brandon, do you think they win today if Rodri played? I just wanted to ask you that. Do you think they win today if Rodri played? Do you think they win? Do you think
with the Ballon d'Or player? Yes, I think we win with the Ballon d'Or player on the field.
Do you think that you win the last 5 games that you've lost if Rodri played?
I don't know. I don't know about the last 5 games. This game with the Ballon d'Or winner, 3 goals up, 75th minute. Yes, Dio, I think we win this.
That's why I said he makes a big difference.
I was gonna say exactly what Brendan said. Big up to Brendan.
Yes, he makes a huge difference. Just like, for example, you're seeing the difference between the way that Arsenal play now compared to how we did at the beginning of the season. A lot of people will put that down to Odegaard being back. Right?
Yes, and I agree.
So, I agree. But the point that I'm trying to come to is, for the Man City fans out there that say, I don't want to blame Pep. Pep's the greatest manager in this current modern day time. He's won this, 4-peat, blah, 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 blah. He still has to adapt. He still has to learn. And I don't think, at the moment, Terry made an analogy at the beginning of all this about, boxing.
I'll catch you guys.
There's some great boxers.
Cheers, bro.
And as they get older, they can't move their feet as quick as what they used to when they were older. They're, like Terry said, they're taking punches on the chin that they would have been able to take in their prime, but now all of a sudden they can't. Pep Guardiola is reminding me of a guy who's so used to winning in the way that he wants to do it that he's now struggling to adapt to the players that he has at his disposal in order to find a new solution, if that makes sense. I think if Man City go out in the transfer market and get the players that they need, then 100% they'll be back. But as of right now, I'm looking at the squad, I'm looking at the manager, and he's kind of finding an inability to make a change, really, to the way that they want to play.
You know what?
I think that is also psychologically causing the players a problem because, like, Guardiola.
No, I totally agree. Sorry to interject. I just because I agree with you. And I saw someone again. I don't like turning this into a Pep versus Fergie situation because that isn't what it's about. But then there's a part of me that thinks what's going on right now is, you know, when you're doing these analogies around who's the greatest of all time, it's always difficult when someone's in the middle of their career to do those analogies because you don't know what's coming in the future. And just in this last 6 weeks, we have seen Pep achieve terrible results, terrible records that Fergie never touched. But also Fergie managed for about 20 years longer than him. And it you know, you look at Mourinho, and go back 10, 12 years, you would never have predicted him being here where he is now, doing the kind of jobs that he's doing. And I'm not saying Pep's never going to win again or he's fallen off. I'm not making those analogies, but I do think where you've hit the nail on the head, Pep, because he's been so brilliant, has always been at some of the most powerful clubs with amazing resources and brilliant squads. I don't think he could have done what Fergie did that time he went away and played Arsenal in the FA Cup and we had to have 8 midfielders on the pitch because of injuries and win the game. That was when Arsenal was still a team in title races. I don't think Pep, because he has a very specific way of playing, if he doesn't have the right players fit and available for that system, I think it kind of fails. And I'm not saying that takes away from his greatness, but you're seeing that kind of being exposed here. Maybe that's why he will never take on those challenges that we've discussed on other shows. Would he go to a Girona? Would he go and take over an AC Milan and try and make them great? Maybe not. Maybe we're seeing here just at City with a few injuries and a few players aging out, he can't get, because let's not forget these last 6 games of that winless. Go back and watch the 4, 5, 6 games before that, where he was scraping wins against teams who, by the way, Fulham and Wolves, the open goals and the big chances they missed, this really should be an 8 or 9 game winless streak for them, if we're being absolutely honest when you look at the performances. But viewers, look, I want to get your views. I want to get your opinions on this in the comment section below. We're going to come back to some more of your super chats later. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere for the time being. So stay with us. Over 3,700 likes, over 59 it's gone to now. 1,000 people have watched this show so far. Please share this out across social media. We'd like to see more people here if possible.